Some of these animals get fixed and released, but the ones I came to meet never get to leave. I sent an email that I didn't think anyone would answer. Can I come film the parts of the aquarium that most people never see? 1 week later, they responded. They gave me all the information that I can record and that the behind the scenes areas are closed and off limits for this month, which is weird. I don't understand why, but it's okay. I tried to ask, can I keep recording in public? They sent me information about following the public guidelines. They never said that I can't record. And then I filled out a media inquiry and I asked about it. What's the status on the application? You know what they said? Nothing. They never responded. Nobody ever responds. But that's okay. I'm gonna go there and record anyways, just so I can put it for the content in the channel. Everything I keep behind a glass, a tank, a lid, a light, and I decide who comes in, and most never leave. So my fish tank, I keep a lot of freshwater fish, from angelfish to corridors to black phantom tetras. I keep all those fish in my tank. It's a 75-gallon freshwater tank, and it's pretty unique to my home. But today we're going to be going to the Texas State Aquarium, and I believe it's the biggest aquarium in Texas. So 3.5 hours from that room is the biggest version of the same idea in the state. The biggest aquarium in Texas, right on the edge of Corpus Christi Bay. Sharks, millions of gallons, and a tank you can walk underneath. That is not why I drove down. Behind the tanks, past the door most people walk through, there's a hospital, a real one, for the animals. Generally, it's housed by sea turtles that have been hit by boats. We have those birds that have fallen out of the sky. And in one frozen week in 2021, this coast pulled thousands of cold, stunned sea turtles out of the bay at once. You can actually go to the website on Padre Island and actually check what they've been doing. And there's a video on there of somebody pulling out a sea turtle that's been frozen, and they're putting it into the car and they're taking it off to a shelter. They're taking it off to get some help for it. Some of them get fixed and go home. That is the good thing. Some of them never can. And I came to meet the people that keep these animals and will never release them back into the wild. Behind the biggest fish tank in Texas, there's a door most people will never see. On the other side is a hospital, and most of the animals behind it will never go back to the wild. This is the Texas State Aquarium in Corpus Christi. It's the biggest aquarium in the state. Millions of gallons, sharks, a reef, you can walk underneath. That's the part everybody pays to see. Tucked behind all of that is a hospital. It's called the Wildlife Rescue Center. It's one of the busiest on the whole Gulf Coast. Sea turtles that got hit by boats, pelicans tangled in lines, hawks that fell out of the sky. They come here broken, and the whole goal is to fix them and put them back. February 2021, Texas froze, the power went out for millions of people, and out in the bay, the water dropped so far, so fast, that the sea turtles cold stunned. A sea turtle is cold-blooded. It runs on the temperature of the water around it. Drop that low enough, and the animal just stopped. It can't swim, but it floats up, and it washes into the shore. But it's still alive. It's just frozen in place. Thousands of them came off this coast in a matter of days. Places like this one became triage rooms. Basically, every tub, every kiddie room, everything that they can use to keep them warm and much better, they used it for. Most of them actually made it, and some didn't. Some of the animals did not heal right, including the turtles and including dolphins. Maybe it's just a flipper that didn't work. Maybe it's like an eye that was removed accidentally. Maybe something happened. Let's talk about, now then there's the dolphins. They're not the ones at the show. They're actually the ones that came from the wild. Some of these dolphins could not survive because they were stranded, or maybe because of their fins that were damaged and they can't swim regularly anymore. Now their new home is actually the aquarium, and they will never be released back into the wild. The experts decided that they can't survive on their own. So now this, the Texas State Aquarium, is their new home for the rest of their lives. And that's the thing I can't take in. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. These types of animals probably should be released back into the wild. I'm all for that. But there's a reason why they're keeping them. And that's one of the things I want to find out. Why? Or what is wrong with them? Why can't we release them to the wild? And I'm sure there's a reason. That's what we're going to find out today.
to touch as well. The free pools here, y'all are welcome to touch. We just ask that you not pick them up.
And where are these guys from?
These are all local. Even the pencil urchins will find them in some of the rocky places around the jetties and whatnot. And then so if you're at the beach and you do run into hermit crabs, you're in the tide pools, you look real closely on the legs there, you'll see they got the little thin striping. So these are thin striped hermit crabs. 9 times out of 10, it'll be the thin striped hermit crab you see around here.
Oh, they're massive.
And there's a bigger one back there, you see?
Look at that one. He's huge.
I have a lot of fish that are pretty, I would say kind of rare, and they're pretty massive. Obviously, like, you get big fish, that means they don't have any natural predators, obviously. So the fish naturally get bigger. So like these kind of fish right here, you normally see them much, much smaller, especially in the wild. And then we have a massive turtle. So it looks like this one is pretty much injured. Like I mentioned earlier about the turtles and how they were hurt. So this aquarium is housing turtles that pretty much are missing a limb. So I'm seeing another turtle. He looks pretty fine. I don't see very much of anything, but kind of answers the question about why some of these aquariums actually keep specific animals, especially like the turtle. I don't know what happened to that turtle. Maybe there's like a placard or somewhere that tells us about that turtle, because he's missing a whole limb. But that's another reason why these aquariums house specific animals. Not all of them, but those, because they will not survive in the wild. If that makes sense. Let's see if we can see it again.
That's the bed.
Yeah.
This turtle has an ouchie. Wait, I don't think this
I don't think it's that one. I think it's the other one. There's like 3 turtles, I think. Yeah, there's one over there. Yeah.
Yeah, they can get ouchies.
So we definitely got to be mindful of how we treat animals, especially ones in the wild, right? So like boats or oil spills, all that kind of stuff. It's really hard to,
We're gonna start walking past.
and definitely when you have a boat, it's kind of hard to see where you're going or what's underwater, but just be mindful of where you're driving your boat. That's the reason why some of these turtles like that are in aquariums, because they can't survive out in the wild like that. So that is one example why turtles like this will never be able to survive in the wild, because they have broken limbs or ripped off limbs. Maybe it's because of a boat attack, maybe it's because of another animal like a shark that attacked the animal. So we just have to be mindful of the turtles like that. Have a weird texture, I love it.
Yeah, so what's really interesting is, so it's basically, sharks have like microscopic, like on their skin they got like microscopic teeth.
Yeah.
And it builds up like a really durable like outer skin.
Okay.
Because, you know, animals like these really need protection.
Yeah. Wow. And these are bamboo or no? Bamboo
Yeah,
sharks?
these would be white spotted bamboo sharks.
Okay. One thing I do want to emphasize is that if you're going to house any animal, such as fish in an aquarium, make sure that you provide the right environment. That is another reason why it is a controversial thing of housing animals, right? So like, for example, these are normal animals, but these are very much so normal animals that aren't injured, right? You want to be able to house them in the right environment. The other thing is, there's a lot of aquariums, not aquariums like this, but aquarium stores and wholesalers. They don't really take care of the animal. And it's up to you to get those animals, right? And make sure that you provide the best environment for them. So it's up to us to kind of provide the best environment for these animals, and that it makes them feel like they're at home, right? Because there's a lot of people who do not take care of the animal. they'll have like the giant fish like this size or even bigger in a tiny aquarium that's less than 100 gallons.
Tentacles are those little hair-like features on the rim of the bell.
Okay.
They do try to sting. They do sting, but we can't feel it through our skin barrier.
Gotcha. It only affects like other predators and other animals, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
They eat brine shrimp, so really, really tiny shrimp that they sting.
Yeah.
And they drag into their,
Oh, that's so cool.
mouth with their oral arms and
Yeah.
their tentacles.
Okay.
And then they have 4 stomachs, those rings that you can see in the center there.
Yeah.
Those are their stomachs, and you can kind of see that there's like bits of food in there, and they're stuffed in those rings.
Wow.
And that kind of gets traveled through those like vein-like little spines there throughout the rest of their body to kind of move the system along.
Okay. That's so cool. And where do these ones originate from?
Just out here in the Gulf, there's a
Oh, in the
ton
Gulf.
of them.
Okay.
These are moon jellies. They're native to the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
I don't know if that one's correct, but there's a lot of them
Like,
out there.
yeah, like they're close.
yeah. You can see them from the Lexington, especially. There's like hundreds of them sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, I went to, I swam in Indonesia, and it was like a lot, like hundreds of them. And me and some friends, we got stung so bad.
Oh, really?
It was so bad.
Oh, no, yeah.
But they were like about this big, like this big of jellyfish. They weren't as big, but there were tons of them.
Yeah, some jellyfish have really nasty stings. These aren't going to sting at all, pretty much. At least humans.
Yeah. Okay. So here are the dolphins. They're essentially like right now they're training. So they give them like these toys that they can play with, and they've been grabbing the toys and like bringing them all the way over there. So we're walking over to see the, oh man, this wind is crazy, man. So we're walking to see the inside of the tank, so like the lower tank. We just saw the top of it with the dolphins. Now we're seeing the glass side of it, so we can actually see what the dolphins are doing and how they're interacting with the toys. And apparently that water is really deep too. So I want to see what that looks like as well. One of the things that happens at this aquarium is that a portion of your ticket actually goes to marine conservation. So out in the wild, dolphins are actually hit by being entangled or a lot of plastic pollution. So things from fishing gear actually affect dolphins. And so that's what this aquarium is actually doing. They're helping to preserve the population. So this aquarium actually teams up with the Texas Marine Mammal Stranding Network, which means that they have a process that they humanely rescue these animals actually. So what happens is that they have a network of people that actually go out and help these animals out, especially veterinarians and biologists that actually go out and help the animals out there in the wild. So a part of the issue is oil spills, entanglement with fishing gear, and even just toxic chemicals that are spilled into the ocean. So there's a lot of conservation efforts that are going on with the aquarium, which is very, very awesome. So obviously aquariums and zoos have a negative rep, and also they're pretty negative, but which is okay to talk about. But there's a lot of positivity that goes on there too. I don't want to shy away from that fact too. So with that said, everything that you do, especially in the world, is be careful with plastic pollution and with fishing, because that does affect animals, turtles, big animals, especially noticeable ones, not just like the small fish, but it affects them greatly. So for example, this crew at this aquarium, they had a crew that actually went up to a dolphin that was entangled in a giant rope around its head. And so it basically cut off its circulation and also deforms the animal itself, right? You see a lot of that online. So that's what this aquarium actually does. actually enjoy the layout of this aquarium. It goes from inside to outside. You actually see it's built along the ocean too. The other aquarium that I really like is the Portuguese aquarium. So if you go to Lisbon, Portugal, there's a very beautiful aquarium there too. It's built on the ocean too. So a lot of these fish are from different areas of the ocean, right? But man, it just amazes me that if you look at these types of creatures, their sheer size that they could actually get into, and it's pretty uncommon. Especially in the aquarium trade, you don't necessarily find massive ones, right? Or if they are pretty massive, they're going to be sold quick, right? Because a lot of people like the bigger fish, the more the cost. The bigger the fish, the more the cost of it, right? Just because you don't have to wait until the fish actually grows up. So that's kind of one of the things about it. It makes it so lucrative. And then the sheer size of the fish is that because they're in these aquariums, there's no natural predator that eats them, right? Or unless it's just kind of like this one, and then you turn around and the other aquarium over there houses like sharks, right? I did volunteer at the Georgia Aquarium. I think that was around the time when it was considered the biggest aquarium in the world. But yeah, it's kind of one of my favorite places. I love the ocean, and I just love the size that these fish can get. Wow, that's a massive green moray eel. So yeah, I am always a believer of wanting to protect the ocean and making sure that you do everything you can. Like obviously there's a lot that you can do and there's a lot that you can't do. But one thing that we can do is help with cleaning up plastics, cleaning up the oceans, cleaning up the beach, right? So that's gonna help.